I feel that my son sort of doesn't fit in a mainstream school, but wouldn't fit in a special school either. And so there's this big hole in the middle, this sort of grey area that I think lots and lots of children would fit into.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything for them. And if, for example, if there was a school local to me that was at state level and offered a different way of learning, a more creative-led learning process, we would jump at it.
Yeah.
100%. It would suit him so much better. But there is nothing like that. I would really love to see big changes happen. I really would. I think they have to.
Yeah.
I do think they have to, actually, because, like I said, there's such demand for SEND services now. And like I said, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to keep growing. And actually, if we don't start kind of looking at what needs to shift right at the sort of heart of it all, we're never going to keep up with it. Mm-hmm. The supply is never going to keep up with the demand. Yeah. It's just not. And we're just constantly going to be chasing our tail and talking about lack of funding, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had just off the back of that Instagram thing I did, the people that came up to me, people I'd worked with for years who I didn't know, had, like, the sound operator and the lighting director who started almost crying, talking to me about his grandchildren. I mean, these are people I've been with for 10 years who I would never have known had a story like mine or had experiences like mine. I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere. And so if I meet anyone in the street now, they always want to talk to me about that. They want to tell me about their experience or, you know, and which is actually a really nice thing. And I knew that's what would happen. I knew that by posting that, I would be opening up this conversation. But I want to open it up. Yeah. I want to open it up. I want people to know they're not on their own. I also want people to know it's, you know, your child. I'll never forget this. I had a friend who has a daughter who is at a special school and has an EHCP for her. And when we got Freddie's diagnosis, we weren't going to go for an EHCP because I'd heard so many stories about how hard it was to get one. And she said to me, your child has the right to be educated to the best of to fulfill their potential. Like, they have the right to an education that fulfills their potential. And that's it. And I was like, you're so right. You're so right. And that really sort of started the journey. And I really do believe that. I really do believe that. I won't have it that, you know, we're just fulfilling the potential of some children and others, oh, well, you know, just the way it is. It doesn't have to be just the way it is. It can be so much better. And actually people need to keep taking a stand for their children. And, you know, but it is exhausting. It's so exhausting. And you do get to a point where you think, I mean, when I sent off that final stuff for his EHCP, I was like, I'm done. If we get a no, it's so what? Well, that's it. I'm done. Just couldn't imagine doing anything more. Yeah. But sometimes I think you just then have to. But it's hard, isn't it? And we've probably got other children. We might have a job. Yeah. Even if we haven't a job, we've got a job at home looking after our children. You know, we've got multiple jobs, don't we? You know, let's face it, it's not just about a job outside of the home. It's sometimes I'm busier. In fact, I would say categorically I'm busier when I'm at home than when I'm at work.
Nice, relaxing time at work. Kellie, if you could write a letter on being a mum, who would it be to and what would you say?
I would write a letter to my younger self, actually. And I would say, it's not what you think it's going to be, but it is better.
No.
Because it isn't what I thought it was going to be at all. But it is better. It is much more in every way than what I could imagine. Yeah. It's much more than just having a dolly that you dress up in your baby clothes. Which I never got to do, really. But yeah, it's that's what I would say. It's nothing like I don't think in my head. I don't think you can imagine it. Can you imagine it?
No.
Really? I think you know. I think you think you know, but then
Also, though, I think because of having that thing of how we imagine it to be, we can spend too much time trying to make your family what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And what I've realised over the years is actually just embracing what we actually are
Yes.
and embracing the chaos.
Absolutely.
Makes it far more enjoyable.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm constantly aware of if something comes out of my mouth that something like my mum or dad would have said, I'm like, oh, Kelly, stop it. Just
Scrap that,
stop
guys,
it.
scrap
Yeah,
it.
yeah, forget it. You want to run around and eat your dinner? Go for it.
Right, we end the podcast with you completing 3 sentences.
Yes.
The first one is being a mum means.
No, I don't really, I know what I want to say,
Okay.
but it's knowing how to say it. It's something like being a mum means holding up a mirror. Because, and what I mean by that is my children have forced me in a way to look at things in myself. They're like a reflection of you is sort of what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So things about my children that perhaps I found difficult, let's say, I have had to acknowledge
Yeah.
that there are things that are in me.
Yeah.
And I found that whole thing, I think I've learned more about myself because of that than I ever could have done if I hadn't become a mum.
Yeah.
So it's, being a mum is holding up a mirror for me.
Since having children, I
Have no time. Easy. Have no time. I mean, I actually went off in my camper van at the weekend on my own.
Did you?
I did.
Where did you go?
I went to the Sussex Downs and I literally went to a very, very low-key, lovely campsite where it was a composting... Are we talking composting toilets?
Right,
like
okay,
that kind of
yeah,
level.
yeah.
No electricity,
Yeah.
no nothing. And I was at one with the trees and the nature. And I just took my crochet. I took my little camping stove and I just switched off. I think we are very much a neurodiverse household, and I need to switch my brain off sometimes.
Yeah.
I need to just shut it down and just stop. And so I had a little weekend to myself. But so I do say, and I appreciated every minute of it.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from, because there is no time. There is never enough time. Never enough time.
And finally, I'm happy when.
Oh, I'm happy when my children are happy.